Good morning. I am higher vibrations, and so are you. And surprise, surprise. I know we were supposed to go live earlier with Sandra. Some it's crazy how, like we're talking a lot about Odin and Thor and stuff, and they moved in and we had some power stuff going on. Weren't able to go on. As soon as it was agreed that we would postpone the show with Sandra, and that Elsa was just showing back up. That was about the same time that the power came back on. So here we are. We're able to do a show with Elsa. I'm super excited. And for those of you who are waiting for Sandra's video, we are going to go live on, I believe it's Thursday. So anyhow, having said all of that, Elsa, welcome. How are you? It's so good to see you.
It's it's taken a while to get together, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the last time we tried to go live, what happened? You could see me, but I couldn't see you at the end. You were able to come on the end or something?
Yeah, I just got crickets.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, well, that was one of the reasons the messages that Mila and I have had the last 2 days is I kept getting the message redo, redo dragon, redo, redo, and I was like, okay, I understand. So I can feel the excitement building, the redo of the dragon or the red dragon. And then Mila, shares her little pictures with me of Maddie, and Maddie talks with her hands to me. I don't know, Maddie just does her thing, right? But
Yeah.
Maddie, when she talks, it's sign language, ancient text sign language for me. So by me seeing those messages that Mila kindly shares, it brings my day soothing and easing. So she did this one. And that one in ancient text means excitement. It wards off evil. It means a bit of chaos. It means unknowing. And so it brought me soothing to know that possibly Mila and I will come together, but what time? I had no idea.
Yeah. And the way that time slippage is happening right now, where we're moving out of what feels like moving out of the constraints that we call time. My interpretation may be different than another person's, but so time being even more elusive than before, on top of all of this, that we're getting a lot of crazy energy. We have for a couple of days. Like, I know that, like, you and I have shared a couple of like images with each other about some of this stuff. But for those of you who don't know, I don't know how many of you are following this. We're getting some pretty powerful surges in every direction right now.
I know why. I do. I know why. And I'm not a know-it-all either. I don't know until I'm ready to know.
Yeah.
So, but I'm okay with it. And I'm this.
Yeah. Yeah. Nervited.
Yeah. This is cute because this to me is Dr. Burns on Bart Simpson, where he goes, excellent. But this in ancient text before Egyptians and things like this, in the Sumerians, this was the warming up. It was the magi ones. It was the magic getting ready. This is what they do. They do this, and then the heat from the hands, from the souls. Yeah. So this silly talk that I have has context to it. I'm coming with Mila as smiley ones to share the play and the creativity of ancient text. A lot of this ancient text and ancient knowledge has a lot of dark stuff. But we go, okay, well, it is what it is. It spun dark then, and it has to spin the other way as well. It can't be one. It has to be both. Otherwise, it's not a frequency.
Yeah. You got to play in the dark.
Yeah, you've got. And this is how I met Mila. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So last night, randomly, Jack returned home again. Two sons return. This is how I met Mila.
Oh,
So,
that's right. All this stuff is going like this.
so with the ancient text, they said, it's the end of the seven. It's the end of the seven. So it's the end of the week. It's the end of the seven. It's time now to remember the real meaning of Easter. It's to appreciate all the versions of Easter. But Easter is really the passing of Ka. It's Pascha. And Pascha is them up there. They're coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The reason they called it Lent is they wanted you to lean the parasites, the bacteria in you, the ancient alien DNA, lean it one way so you have more channels, more open ducts, more, so you can allow the new dragon energy through.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon is dark. It's the channels in us, Mila.
Mm-hmm.
And they
You're
want you
right.
to lean it. They want you to lean it one way so you can get the new and allow the old to go. Then Mila, this is the best one that I've only really worked out yesterday. One of the ancient gifts in Easter was the onion for the mucus.
Yeah, dude. I'm all about the onion for a lot of different reasons. It's good stuff.
Well, it's a switchy. I call them switchies. What's the real name? It's a mirror word. It's a magic
Reflection?
word, really. Yeah, it's a palindrome.
Oh, right.
So I call them switchies.
I like it.
So it's a switch ease is literally what it means. It switches it to ease. So it's a switchies. It's an onion. Once you realize the sacredness of onion brings the we use it as it's a parasite cleanse, onion.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll soak porridge or bread or in the onion juice and give it to the chickens, and it deworms them.
Oh, wow.
Not in Western medicine. If you say you give onion to your dog or animals, they'll say it will kill them. I said, who does it kill?
Right.
It's another form of Lent. It leans you to being more open. So you're allowing the true starseed of you, not the other ones.
Right.
So the 7 days ending is, I think they call it the 7 sea songs in Easter, or the Song of the Dragon. It's the ending today for you and me here.
The 7 heaven.
Yeah, so now we go into the rebirth. A lot of them would call it Baba, Pascha. This is where they get the word baby. It's the rebirth.
The Baba black sheep.
Yeah, it's Baba. Then you get the whole sacrifice thing, but sacrifice is to see Ka. To see Ka and to face Ka. But a lot of people would, there was a lot of years they would sacrifice on a hill. Or, yeah, so there was.
On a giant.
Yeah, so there's lots of versions, right, of Easter. But it really is East. So the coming, the new, the baby, Ta. That's.
This is crazy.
Yeah, but this goes back to the ancient Egypts. This goes back through all. You could say, Mila, you could say in Odin language, you could say in Bible, and I will go with it with you, and it traces back to the same meaning.
Wow.
I can't make it up. Yeah, cuneiform. I can do it through Hollywood. I can do it, and I keep coming back to the same meaning, and it's this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's excitement. It's celebration for the new. This is what they would do. They would wait till the night, Saturday night, which is the end of the week, which was completion, Saturn, satisfy. They would come to the end of the night and then they have the feast ready for the new. So they're waiting for the.
Wow. And what's more is that she did that hand symbol while we were in the middle of playing a spin-off of an Easter game, basically. It was those items that she had on her and stuff came from. I put them in artificial eggs, and she went and found them like an Easter egg hunt. Yeah,
But she was wearing Santa.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's another level too. One of the Easter eggs. Remember how I told you there's that pumpkin that still hasn't deteriorated, so we're just like leaving it on the counter. It still
Like the
looks like it's
McDonald's
brand new.
burger.
Yeah, we just painted it. We don't get those from that kind of a store to eat. Just so you guys know, don't worry. But like anyway, she painted it, and it's been sitting on the counter. So I hid an Easter egg on top of this jack-o'-lantern, and she was running around picking up these Easter eggs with her Christmas pajamas on. And so she's wearing Christmas, getting an Easter egg off of a jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, so it's Santa and Easter. So again, the two ends of the year, different seasons for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I understand it, Santa does not come at the 25th of December like we've all been. I just not following that context anymore. Santa is the 11th of the 9th. That's the 1 day. This is why they had September 11 happen. There's no coincidence. They confirmed it for me. This is Santa Day. This is so these are two Baba days, baby days, the birth and rebirth. See what? It's just spinning on different sides of the world, different hemispheres, different him in sphere. We're in the spheres. And they're wanting something to do with Mila over there and Ed over here. It's the Ozarks. This is the Ozarks playing out. We are here as messengers picking up on code to share out, to use sheep, use sacrifice as us to see them. I love you. This is so cute.
This is fun.
This is good. I feel this is good. I feel rattled, but rattled is this again. It's excitement. It's the butterflies.
Yeah.
It's good,
Yeah.
Mila.
And you said use, and you said something about black, and you mentioned Ba before, the black sheep, and the story of the black sheep is talking about, they use the word black, and people think that denotes something negative or wrong. It stands out. And I've been, we all, most of us anyway, have been referred to or referred to ourselves as black sheep in our families. Like this whole, it's the signifier of the one who's an awakened experience. Like I always called myself the tie-dye sheep personally, but like like I really am that. But I get, and you said it a lot, and also there's I took a bunch of notes, but I got to point a couple of things out. One of those is right before Elsa, before you contacted me, I had this massive hawk came down really, really close and flew over the top of my head. And it was flying in the southeastern direction. And when you were saying east, you said so east a couple of times. And like that's southeastern, right? But that's the direction. And when it comes to this book, you can't see the book. This book, it's a medicine card book. It talks about, it helps us understand the significance not only of each individual animal, like we call them, the totem medicine that comes forward through each one of these individuals, but it also helps you understand another layer of it by the direction. Now, this actually came up yesterday in the group Zoom meeting with somebody else. They had a whole different experience, but it also had to do with the East. The animal in the East guides you to your greatest spiritual challenges and guards your path to illumination. That's what the Eastern direction is signified by.
Oh, so this morning I get up, and it's before the sun has risen. So, but it's a little bit of light, but not, you can't see any sun. And all I hear is Little Hawk up in the pine trees right above my bedroom. I go, okay, I'll go see what Mila said. You be quiet. You're going to wake all the other birds before you know it. The crows are like woken, because she doesn't usually call at that time. She usually waits for sunlight. And I'm like, okay. And now crows in on it. The roosters have not even woken. So that's how early it was. That's weird, right?
Yeah. But I had left you messages, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, this is what happens is we pick up on the differences in the animals as well. So yes, we're getting it from media. Yes, we're getting it from ancient texts, but also paying attention to like for the last 7 days, back and forth on the solar flares, Mila will say, all the dogs are barking, only on the solar flare. And then I will notice the solar flare and all the dogs are barking here, but there's no other animal noise.
Yeah.
This is weird. Like there's no possums or fruit bats or night birds. It's only dogs barking.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And all of the dogs, though, too. It's like,
yeah, like on all the hills.
Coyote get involved. Coyote started to get. I'm like, man, it's
just want to
every
miss
direction. What was that?
Didn't want to miss out.
Yeah, and he's the jokester. He's the symbol of being the jokester. Yeah. And it was happening the same time. It happened the same day, your night and then my night.
Yeah, actually, we had a solar flare that was in the day and that we had the dogs barking. The other thing I noticed is the humans would go quiet. So there's no tractors or there's no cars or trucks going by either. It was silent.
Huh.
So at both ends of the festives, you have Silent Night, the Christmas song. But in here, you have Lent. It's silent. Lent.
Right.
It keeps coming back to the same messages. And yes, it sounds like gibberish, I guess. But it's, to me, this makes more sense than what I've been dictated.
Yeah.
It just feels better. It makes me smile. And it crosses over so many streams that I go, I'm going to go with this. So I'm going with spirit. I'm going with jest. I'm going with the coyote, and he feels better. Yeah. He feels happier.
Yeah. The animals are changing. Their behavior is changing. It's been very noticeable. And we're all waking up, man. Spiritually. Yeah, I was waiting for you to see that. I'm glad you saw that comment. My duck is listening to Mila and Elsa too. Thanks, Bara. There's a lot about all of this. I wanted to mention, because this is one of the really consistent emails and messages I'm getting. People talking about their fur babies or companions that are around that are also, these animals are also having ascension symptoms. Like they're also, it might not be the same as what we are thinking that we're having, but everybody's experience is different anyway, but the message here is, they're going through something too, but it's a good thing. It's something I've noticed that, you could call them more clingy, but I don't have an animal that lives in my house. They come to us, and they're around a lot more. Like they're surrounding our house. We're having frogs jump against my window, right now. Actually, I could hear it, and it took me a while to find out what that was. They're trying to, the curtains are closed, so they won't do it, thinking I don't want to hurt themselves, but they're trying to get in. Like, this is something that's happening with everybody on some way. And so, I feel like it's more than like the thing about the dogs barking that happened during a solar flare. They're definitely feeling that. We all had some really crazy stuff happen this week that it got up to a KP index of 8. It's not usually that high. That's really uncommon. Like KP 5, you'll have a lot more ascension symptoms. People are starting to talk about dizziness and feeling a little bit more wobbly on their feet, headaches, headaches in the gums that sometimes are mistaken for tooth pain when it's actually gum related. This is because our body's asking us for salt. Migraines, exhaustion, lack of motivation, weird appetite, people just all of a sudden not wanting to eat, or the opposite. I've had people report that too. These are like, all of us are having this, and so too are these other little guys, these animals, and so what can we do to help them and yourself? I've noticed that crystal work really helps these guys. I'll actually take this one. I have a charging plate right here, and I'll charge this crystal, and then so this is their tail, and I'll just trace from the top of their head, and I'll just trace as far as I can down their spine, and I notice that there's an immediate calming that occurs. If you don't have something like this, it doesn't, I feel like something with a point helps, so here's a labradorite that has a point. This is a rough cut. This will work just fine, but anything, especially if it's been charged, meaning cleaned, you can put it in salt to clean it. You can put it in the window with the sun, or a really powerful one is to put it with the moon light. There's a lot of different ways to do it. So anyway, you brought that up, and I'm like, yeah, we should talk about, because there's been a lot of people who have been reaching out to me about their animals having and noticing more energy, like barking at stuff that is obviously in the room that the owner or the person that's what their companion can't see it, a lot more than normal. So I went on a little tangent there.
Well, so they're tapping into their new energy coming, but also previous energies. So
Right.
So they're tapping into ghost, and because everything gets elevated, it's not. So us humans just think it's us, and like you said, it's the animals, it's the water, it's our cars, it's our air conditioner. I mean, everything gets affected. It's our computers. Look what's happened to you. How many shows have you had to?
I know. I've had to reschedule 2 sessions and 2 shows in this week alone. I don't do that.
Yeah,
I can avoid it.
Well, and being flexible with this, not being stressed about it, and going, it is what it is. It's okay. It's just not meant to happen just yet. So the unit, you know what it is? It's the cosmos is up there going, oh my God, this is quickening is quicker than I thought. So it's up there trying to get it all organized, and it's got papers flying everywhere. And he's going, tell them to wait a minute. I'm still organizing all the alignments. So that's what I see. I see it like before a kid's party or something. It's just mayhem. It's little cupcakes and balloons and everything, and someone's lost their shoes, and it's just all these alignments and some alignments are missing. So you get put on pause, and that's okay. And if you can smile about it and go, it's the universe setting up something more for me, rather than being angry, frustrated, disappointed, feeling that lack.
Yeah.
So you spin the energy of that feeling, right? And now you go, the universe is building up something greater for me. See how you've just done the ancient, what the ancients practiced? You've gone, you know what? It didn't happen. That means when we get together, boy, is it going to be. So you're cancellations that you've had.
Mhm.
When you come back together with this person or whomever it is, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And it lined up to be significant dates that each thing that I had to reschedule where it was settled on was something that was like much more profound. And that's always the case. And, you know, you mentioned this. No, you didn't actually. But I saw the visual of it when you were talking. The spiral, the spin. Maybe you said respin, but the spiraling
Have a
that's
coffee.
what was that?
Oh, I'm asking them to make me a coffee. No one's making me a coffee. Sorry, I thought I was on mute.
That's all good. I'm over here half the time I'm reading. I'm so if I ever, by the way, seem like I'm not paying attention, I am. I'm just multitasking. Anyway, I come from a family of 10 kids, and like I was one of the oldest ones, so I'm really good at multitasking. Is the spiral that's been coming in a lot lately. This is a really big conversation point. It also relates to rings. It relates to your Merkaba. It relates to your toroidal field. It relates to the geomagnetic frequencies that are being enjoyed by us here, as well as the planet we're on. And this is really fascinating because, you know, as you know, I channel. I don't always know what's going to happen when I do these group meditations. I really don't. Like, I have an intention. And Elsa, I know you haven't seen these, is that recently, the past few times, we've been working on this. It's a spiral. It's always a spiral staircase. And we're going into this place that is like a Lemurian castle made of crystal. And it's when you walk in, the walls, inside the walls of the crystal, like it's like this kind of a crystal where you can kind of see through it, but it's a little bit, it's just quartz. You can kind of see through it, but it's a little bit smoky in some areas. And when you walk into this structure, inside the walls have rainbows lights that start to shine. And then the spiral staircase appears. Now, this is what's really fascinating too, is it feels a lot like what we've talked about and even had moments of memory about being in certain chambers in Egypt, where when you go in there, you and I talked about this a couple of years ago. I think it was like debriefing conversation or something like that. It's the same place, only there's a spiral staircase. And it's the tower of the light bearers. It's the tower of it's actually the plate bearers. These plates are made of light. It's this whole thing. And it has to do with completion. It's the year of completion. We're in the 9 year. And what we're doing is we're spinning it back. We're spinning it back to the before. Does that make sense? 4.
So to spin back to before is to walk into it. Wow. Yeah. So to spin back into it is to, because then that collapses time again.
Right.
So we think we're going back in history, but maybe that we're creating his story.
Right.
So so the reason it feels so alien, so weird, and rattling is because you're pulling the rings together. And it has that chamber feeling because it's an echoing. So it's your tell reflecting back and coming back and coming back and coming back, and it comes. Sometimes it comes back clean, but if you're doing it faster and faster and faster, Mila, the echoing becomes a lot of noise. Do you get? So if you imagine running through you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a familiar. So now this comes back to how the messages would come through as a child. It used to sound like a really noisy airport.
Mm-hmm.
So in this quickening, they'll be the ones that can hear the messages that little bit clearer.
Yeah.
They're called the seekers. So it's cute.
That makes so much sense to me.
Yeah. So to be a seeker is so when you're a seeker, you see the befores coming.
Yeah.
You see the befores.
Wow.
Or the forefathers. You see all of them. Yeah. You don't and when you're a seeker or an oracle or a seer or any of these words, you're just able to see the messages a little bit left field.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. You can see right field and left field. And you're okay with both. And you're generally, most people that are of this are neutral. If you get too wound up in it, it means you've just got a few realms or things or anchors to let go of. That's
Right.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
It's a
and there's
strand.
there's no right or wrong, because maybe there's things that you have to do with that anchor or that. That's why I keep saying to people, there's no right or wrong. You know, there's no like, oh well, you see all that, I don't see it, so I mustn't be this. Like, it's not like that. It's like, you have this to do. We can't all. It's a show. You can't all do the same thing. Everyone has to do their show, not everyone does the same show. Otherwise, there's no point of creation.
Right. Then it's just replication. It's the
Yeah.
clown, right? The circus.
Well, that becomes cloning, clowning, and creation really is. We've been given big warnings of this. The cloning, the clowning, the copying will peter out, which the word peter means farther out. It will feather out. It will become sparse.
Right.
Diminish. This is the words that come up with the. So when people get really stressed about the whole AI thing and copycats and people, stealing a story, it's like, honestly, they have to play out for us to see that, for others to see it as well. Because maybe they're playing out that role to show how their ring or how their telling of the copying doesn't feel right. It just doesn't have the same, like I said, a lot of the movies that I used to love, it just, when I look at them now, it doesn't have the same buzz anymore. It's lost its magic almost.
Yeah. 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 It's like, it's the same concept of, so you know how I can see energy. This was a fun example I did with my daughter and her friends when we were in Washington still. We were growing cherry tomatoes, those little teeny tomatoes. And I don't know if they're called cherry, but that's the size. And so that's what I call them. Anyway, so I had her pick a bunch of them by herself right there. And then she would hand them over down the line to her other friends. And you could actually see the energy of the tomato diminish when it exchanged hands each time. And it wasn't because that person was bad or pulling on purpose or being unkind. It's just when we make contact, we draw from that thing. So it's less complete or less vibrant than it was before. And that also happens with these repeat and copy, is that it diminishes it in some places, some ways. It takes away from its truth, because it's already a truth that's been told, just rewound. That's interesting too, because that's how you read. That's what we used to read those VHS tapes. We would rewind it to start the story over again. How many versions of Spider-Man can you actually have? You know what I mean?
Well, this is the first versions of the Bible. So the messages of the Bible, even so, you got the messages of Bible in that text. Then you got it in all the different languages. Then you have the different versions in the English language. Now, okay, let's get the calendar and keep spinning the calendar back now. So now you go back to, so this is where it gets interesting, Miller. So now it goes back to the 7 Sea Scrolls.
Ooh.
Or the Dead Sea Scrolls, I think they call them. Then you go back to cuneiform. Before cuneiform is another version of Sumerian. Keeps spinning back. It just keeps going. You know, it just so now we keep going back to the same message. Easter. They knew it was annual. It was coming. We're excited.
Yeah.
They're excited. They're coming. You said that these are coming closer and closer than ever recorded, right?
Yeah.
And they can't keep up. I mean, they're doing a black swan effect on us in a couple of weeks as well. I mean,
the black swan on you?
A black swan is coming past us, right?
Yeah. It's that's what I was making sure. So you want to talk about? I've been waiting to talk to you about this.
Well, the black swan sticks her neck out. They're creatures of love. The black swan is possible. There was no such thing as a black swan until they came to Australia. I mean, there is now, but years ago there was only white swans. So to have a black swan effect was a joke.
Yeah.
It was a jest. And so they come to Australia and then they realize we only have black swans.
They're real. And a group of black swans are called a bank.
Oh.
I just discovered that.
Well, bank is to be sure. It's also beach, which is female. It's shore. She's sure.
Right.
She's sure. She's sure.
Sally collects seashells by the seashore on Sundays.
Yeah.
I remember having to learn to say that.
Well, to be shored is the dams as well. And they carry the dragon through the land. Or the
You said dragon,
bank.
just I pulled the frogs up.
Well, they carry the dragon, the water energy, the Loch Ness, the whale, the setter ones, the spined ones through the land. And the water reminds the land, it reminds us all of that we are all connected. We are all intelligent. I don't see any certificates on any of the wildlife out here, and they just know what to do.
They don't have a degree.
Yeah. And they're pretty happy about it. They're really happy about it. For this, though, to change, for disclosure to change, and for us to be in jest about it and smile about it, you do have, there's a lot of industry that has to let go. And I spoke about this before with the disclosure. They're waiting for us. And they go, but I'm just a mum. And you go, yeah, you are. And there's another mum next to you and another mum over there. And this is disclosure. It has to come through community. It will not, if you're waiting for it to come through the other ones, you're going to be kept in wait.
Right.
And so what they'll do with disclosure is they'll see where the mass energy is going, where we're ready for it, and then they'll leak more. And this time right now of the bubba, the baby, new birth, is a great, in astrology, it's a great time to start new.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, it's the beginning of the astrology. That Aries is really, that's the first sign, and it's widely accepted. This is the beginning of the year officially. Like there's a lot of okay. First of all, you got a couple of things I want to comment on. So I'm going to go backwards a little bit. Is that okay? And then go back around again. First of all, so you brought this up, and this has been a message that's just been coming in really consistently for me, is how many of us now, whether you're not your whatever your gender is, this has got nothing to do with physical gender. We both have divine masculine and divine feminine within us. We do. And it's also true that no matter who you are, at least until recently, that divinity has been knocked off balance by a lot. Like some people use the word distorted. They use all kinds of descriptors for this. However, many of us have been, male or female, acting in the divine masculine. And the divine masculine has been off-centered, has been imbalanced, incomplete. And now that it's finding its completion, and that divine feminine has finally been anchoring, it's still a present tense in this anchoring. When it started in 2022, we were like, yay, we're done. No, that's just where it started, dude. That was like the first toe, and like, anyway, is that many of us have been operating in this divine masculine, and as a result, we've been acting as the banks. We've been acting as the banks that try to control the river, when in fact, what we're being called to do is to flow as the waters within the river. The waters, if you consider the fact how flows work, like the flow that you were talking about, Elsa, that flow, it could have seemed chaotic. If you look at most rivers, they could appear that way. They have and they're consistently changing. Like if you look over a series of years, you'll notice that the rivers really like snake out, and then eventually they meet themselves again and then straighten back out. But this is how it's meant to occur. It's meant to gradually and slowly carve out the earth beneath our feet, and for us to very gently flow with each moment that we're in is the guidance that we're being given. And you know what? I'm a chick, and I can tell you right now that I've spent most of my life in divine masculine, and I don't feel like that's like a accusational thing to say to somebody. That's what's been happening, so how do we change that? Well, I've been given a lot of lessons recently over the past year or two. And one of the main the message of it is to trust the universe, because the universe is you. When you put your foot out to take a step, even if you can't see, and I'm not talking literally walk off a cliff here, just to be clear, but like if you step out, know that you're going to be caught by the universe. And I'll tell you what, every time she catches you, every time there's a place for your foot to land. And since we've been doing things this way, a lot of cool and amazing things that wouldn't have occurred otherwise have happened. Most of our relationship, Elsa, has been based on this flow. Like our conversations are very much like that. We don't come on here really knowing exactly what we're going to talk about.
No. Well, and at first it doesn't sometimes feel real as well.
Yeah.
But then it comes about, and then the crazy talk actually presents, but in such a beautiful, magical way. And I can't explain it, and I'm sure Mila can't explain it. But you don't. It's happening so quickly that you don't really have time to dwell on it either. You have time to acknowledge, appreciate, and then you're already going on to the next one. And I feel this a lot with you, Mila, is I'm seeing what's good is I see it happen in you over there. and you're in a different season and a different country and on a different hemisphere, and I'm seeing the repeat. I'm seeing it with the animals, I'm seeing it with the crystals, I'm seeing it with the clouds, seeing it with your daughter. You know, it's a good confirmation for me as I'm here, and I use it as a tool, as a gift, you know. These messages have not only helped my family, they've helped our health, they've helped many others around the world, many others in different ways that, you know, sometimes you won't ever understand.
Yeah.
What's she written now?
Well, I was just thinking about that when you said that. This was a while back. We were doing a show and I was reading the comments and someone said, wouldn't this be a fun conversation to listen to when on ayahuasca? And they're like, yeah. And like, I just think about that almost every time that you and I meet now, is that because we have some of the stuff that you do the same thing for me. It's crazy the kinds of activations that we give each other, you know, like, and then I'll actually hear your voice echoing in my head. Like, you know, are you there? Can you hear me? And it's just like, I can hear you, you know, like we are meant to connect.
Like the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that tunnel, that echoing, that calling, it's no different to Little Hawk. So Little Hawk calling, and then I talked to Mila, and Mila's going, my power just turned off or something. My show's been cancelled. and then I went, well, maybe we're meant to do a show later. And then I hear nothings and I'm thinking, oh, her power's out again. And then she goes, my power's back on. I was like, okay. So I said, oh, I'm going to just get ready for a show now. And they told me last minute. I kept saying it's last minute. Last minute, last means first.
Right.
And I went, whoa, this is deep. You even write it. It looks like first. Last is first. It's the ones looking at each other. It's the point of the Taurus horns looking at each other. It's the marked ones. It's 1-1. It's the, yeah. It comes back to also, it would be cast as hull. It would be course half. It's the horizon points.
Yeah.
So everything with the way back ancient ones, if that's what they are, not in our future, they would write with symbols. So everything was symbols. So it was a circle or a dot, or there were marks, and they'd use a lot of animals to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have the horns of Taurus, the marked ones.
Right.
Again, look at my fingers. It's the 2 points on the horizon, the rise and set of the sun. It's the point where the sun goes to. And so Mila, I go outside. I said, I'll go get ready just in case. And I haven't heard from Mila, so I'm thinking her power's off again. So I'm out outside in the sunshine with the family. And the kids go, did you just see that huge bird land in the goldfield over there? They don't call it goldfield, by the way. They'll get very annoyed when I say it, but they say over in the paddock. And I look over and
it's a hawk.
Eagle has landed.
Ooh.
Richard goes, oh no, look, there she goes. Off, Elsa's off. They're all laughing because they go, oh no, the eagle has landed in the goldfield. That's like 20 shows right there.
Yeah.
So I woke up to Little Hawk. He's laughing. They say they have to live with me.
I can't hear him.
Oh, he's saying 24 hours a day. But I didn't make the eagle, and he's landed over. So you said the hawk was in the southeast. Ours is in the southwest.
Ha.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So when you see the symbol S, it's very the calling of the chords. It's the calling of the dragon again. It's the little snake. It's the big snake.
Yeah.
They don't use a ground either. Like to see a hawk ground and an eagle ground, it's honestly in my life I've probably only seen it twice. That was the second time.
Yeah, that's really super uncommon.
Yeah, in a gold field.
Right. I was just watching something about eagle last night about the link to Tartaria, to ancient Egypt, to, and it's just what I was watching was somebody, I used to live in Washington, and somebody was doing like a little, video tour of Olympia, which is an area I lived kind of close to, and the Tartarian structures that they have around there are, it's, you can't unsee that stuff, like, I mean, those of you know what I'm talking about, and it does sound kind of far-fetched to some people until you actually look around and realize they founded these buildings. They called it founded at a certain time, right? They say founded in 1840 something. Usually almost every one of these were founded in the 1840s. So anyway, but this symbol was all over, and it's like we, as people in this country that I'm in, assume that it has to do with, because the America, we associate with the great American bald eagle, and assume that that's a symbol we put there ourselves to kind of, pump up clout or something about something that we love about the country we're in, when in fact it's actually an old symbol that's used over and over and over again. The lion and the eagle together, which is a weird. Go ahead.
It's weird, right? So this comes back to dragon. This comes back to the word dragon is duck. That's why it's funny. The duck was listening before, because it's Draco, and this is if you look at the pictures in this era, they mix the animals. The mixing of animals is a big part of us. It's disturbing to some, but the mixing of animals, the pan with the goat and the fawn, all these things is how we. It's how we got here. We did not come from monkey. Once you hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, you'll understand the trick of it all. We really did not come here this way. We came here through. Again, this is just my belief of how it's happened and my understanding. It came here through the wolf and the ant. This is why Sirius is so important for us, the dog planet and all this. This is how we got here. And this whole monkey thing, when you even the scientists agree that it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But they just forget to tell you that part. And this is the same with Tartarian, or the dragon, like you said, how it never used to be dinosaur, it was only dragon. But they said, well, we don't like, it's like poor Pluto. They said, well, sorry, we've decided that Pluto's not a planet anymore. It's like, what? How can you just, it's like the Gulf of Mexico is now the Gulf of America.
Yeah, at least on Google Maps anyway. I don't think they can officially change it.
Yeah. Well, what they do is they change it and then they wait for you to die out.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that's what it is, and you just go and you accept it. And this is what the Bible has done to us. they've made us think that this is the Bible. But if you unpack the Bible, it repeats the text of the pyramids. It repeats the text of the coffin text. It repeats the text of the ivory tablets. It repeats the text of the emerald tablets. Like, it goes, these stories, they're attempting to separate us.
Yeah.
And I don't understand, but I feel sounds so corny, but I do. I feel this huge hug of us come together now. Like, I feel that this hug is impossible to avoid now.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. In fact, so this is my 2 cents to add to that, is what I've been being given, and I've already shared this before in a couple of places. So I don't know if I said it live or not, or if I told you before, Elsa, I don't know. But because it's just been something that's been happening, is this huge thing that they've been highlighting. When I say they, I mean spirit, and I could mean a variety of individuals, but archangels or those who have passed, higher self, all kinds of different people. Anyway, so it's got to do with our memory, the area of our memory, and that we're not actually learning something new, we're remembering. And that was important for me to understand, because, and it may be important for, I know it's important for others, and maybe not everybody though, because when we know the area of our brain that's being activated, those of us that do things with intention, we can focus on that area and help it. And so this area of our body is called the hippocampus. It's significant because it's placed between the brain stem and the pineal gland, or the third eye, right? And this is the coolest part of the download, because I've been wondering what this whole thing is about. They've been the ancient alien DNA stuff. Every time you say that, it always triggers of like, there's a piece of puzzle missing. And this, they told it to me. So the low self-worth talk, all of the stuff that's coming from the back of our mind, like the you can't do that, or you're not capable, or not worthy kind of words, those self-diminishing thoughts that are always in the back of our head. I don't know, something in the back of my mind. We even know where it's at, is an actual outside hijacker energy that's connected onto our brain stem. All right, stay with me just for a little bit, because this sounds kind of out there, right? But what they're showing is that this energy placement was intentionally placed in order for us to keep our vibration or our frequency just low enough to diminish self just below the bar, so we can stay at a stationary sleepiness, stay asleep. Anyway, right now, and then also many people have now started to refer to the brainstem as the reptilian brain, which I think is really interesting. And there's a lot of code about this series called Stargate SG-1. And it's a whole thing about ETs that are like, they call them zygotes, I think. And they're like little worm things that connect to your brainstem and then control that human. And that's not like a documentary, I know, but there's some code there. And it all came together. What they're showing me, though, is that what we're doing is we're remembering, we're recalling our true self. This sometimes is our higher self. You would call yourself your higher self, or it is a soul path, your where you've been before coming here, the way the history was before there was some type of whatever was done. All this kind of stuff's coming in. Past life memories just coming left and right. And what it's doing is it looks like a deflated balloon, and it's blowing up. It's expanding with this white light in the hippocampus. The hippocampus is directly behind your nose if you follow perfectly across. Anyway, what's really fascinating too is that as that balloon expands, it takes up room, space, and pushes out things that don't belong there, like this reptilian brain voice. Whatever that is, it's not actually really you. It's some kind of parasite, energetically speaking. And so that's going to result in what's already been happening for a lot of people. Have you guys noticed that all of a sudden, like, this past life review stuff's coming up, and all of this, like, weird stuff's popping up so you can review it, look at it, understand it, and then be okay with it? And you're noticing it's easier to be kind to yourself. But then in other moments, you're the exact opposite. It's like a pendulum. That's what this activation is it's all got to do with the hippocampus. And then, therefore, the expansion of the third eye, which is the unicorn. So there's that.
So the unicorn is a rhino, which is hippocampus, which is.
Oh, ha.
So when I first met Mila with the two sons, all Mila would say, she'd say, I don't know what it is, but there's something about a seahorse, and seahorse is the hippocampus. Hippocampus is the one that creates fear and worry.
Oh,
I knew you'd love that one. Yeah.
yes.
The hippocampus on different angles, depending on which angle and what realm you go to. But a hippocampus looks like a seahorse on some angles, and on other angles, it looks like a Loch Ness. Guess what? It carries memory. Who carries memory? She, Seta. Seta carries memory. The spined ones. She carries the memory. The reason she carries memory is because she's the whale. She's the rainbow warrior, rainbow serpent, and there's two.
Right.
And they carry tar. They carry the tar, and they're wet, and they carry it through them, and then they release the old tar, like seal. It's so like seal. It's the seal is it's the sealing of us. The sealing is, if you look, when I hold my dog's ears back, it looks like a seal.
Yeah.
Seal, sea pig. It's our purpose, porpoise. You look at a dolphin and a pig. This is where they get the name from.
Right.
Sea pig. And so this is our purpose, porpoise.
As Maddie used to say, on purpose.
I know, it's so cute. Well, now she's not mucking around because they see purple differently. They see ultraviolet differently. They've even changed ultraviolet to being infrared. So when you see reddy dragon, it's, yes, okay, maybe to our eyes now it's a red dragon, but this is an ultraviolet light coming through. We're just in the baby steps of it at the moment. Right. And like Maddie, prophesies, she just said, you'll just get another cone.
Yeah.
And the cone is the cone and the receptor in our eyes. So at one stage through these realms, many could not see blue, but now we can. We can't see ultraviolet yet, but we will.
Yeah.
Because you will it in. And that's the magi of Ka. So the magi of Ka is the Passover. Pascha. This is what they call the sweet bread. It's not the sweet bread. We eat sweet bread tomorrow in Easter, Greek Easter. It's beautiful bread, by the way. It's not too sweet, but it's just enough. The sweet bread is the sweet breeding of us. It's the higher breed. We sing a sweeter song because we're evolving.
Yeah.
We're understanding. This is why, how can you not say this is a big hug, Mila?
Oh, yeah.
You get it, right? You're like, yeah. I mean, Mila's delivery guy gets it. He doesn't know why he's getting it, but he comes around, and I hear your stories, and I feel the people around you without even hearing the story. I feel them being happier. The stray dogs, the skunks.
Yeah, I was going to come inside the house. I didn't see him come in the house though. It came in here, and I was working on the computer, and it like moved up against my leg, and I was startled. It was happy to hang out.
It's just like, what you doing?
Yeah.
But because it's like when you hear those nursery rhymes where they get the animals to come and help them make a wedding dress, or help them clean or something, because everyone's just doing their thing. No one's in fear or worry. So the animals are not in fear and worry. If you're in fear and worry, the animals fear and worry. So they're like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
What are we getting? What are we ready for?
Yeah.
And that's when they're uncomfortable around you. They're not obedient. If it's a skunk, they'll spray you. Like, if it's a wild animal, they'll stand up like a snake and get ready. But if you're calm around a snake, which I have to be,
right,
because they're venomous here,
yeah,
or
we got a bunch
spiders,
too.
but they just move on their way.
Mhm.
Everyone knows they could kill you. Everyone knows that the snake really can't eat you because you're too big. But so the snake moves on his way, and there's no conflict. And this is what we have to do with each other now.
Right.
We have to sort of hold space in the calm.
The interesting thing about the snake too is that the snake is very nearsighted. It doesn't see or sense you until you're quite close. And so, I mean, that's like having somebody jump across or jump out from behind the couch and saying boo. That their reaction is your reaction when someone does that to you. That's why they react the way that they do, if they ever do react at all. They're like, whoa, mother, what are you doing here? When did you show up? Are you going to hurt me? Should I defend myself? That's usually what the snake is going through.
Well, they don't have any hands either. So, how like you can push something away with hands? They've only got one. Yeah. So where this is now with disclosure is the more you follow that inner calling in you, no matter what you should be doing, just keep going with that inner calling, the instinct, which is what Mila and I have done in the last 2 days. It will all pan out. It will just work. I don't know how, and I can't tell you how, and you won't be able to explain it either, but it just will.
Yeah.
But you have to fully believe it to the nth degree. And a few big like Baja talks about this a lot. He's a big channeler, and he talks about they will take you to the last second. And I can. This is what happens with Richard and I will clean the whole kitchen, which will be a mess, or the girls will clean, right down to the last spoon. As soon as we finish the last piece, Richard walks in the door and goes, I'm going to make some lunch.
Right?
He's been doing this for 30 years. I say, how do you know when I finish? Like, he could be in the car, come home from shopping at that time. And so now it's funny to all of us because we go, because it happens so much to the nth degree. So if you can trust that will happen, but this is where the schooled us falls apart a little bit, because we don't like taking it to crisis point, I guess. But this is where the power is. This is the compass point, and
the 4 points.
So if you don't want to take it on something big, start practicing on something small.
Right.
So that you build up confidence. And this is what they say about practice.
Yeah.
You don't just go from here to there.
Right. You use
have
training wheels when you learn how to ride a bike. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the spirit tells me the same thing, that belief is the fuel of all things in spirit. And so if we can believe more, then it will. Trusting yourself is a better way of wording it. That's just the word that they use. They call it belief. Like, and it's so much that I've been encouraged to go around telling people to take 5 minutes every day and use those 5 minutes in each day to suspend your disbelief. Just for what bad could happen, that you for 5 minutes, even if you think you're pretending, for 5 minutes pretend that all of this cool stuff is real. All of this amazing spiritual stuff is actually really 150,000% happening. Like it's really, really here. The collective awakening is really happening. That you really are powerful, that you can really sense, that your intuition you have all the clairs and they're coming in right now as we speak. Hey, dude, we've been on for 1 hour and 11 minutes and almost 11 seconds. And right there. And it doesn't hurt anything just to take a couple of minutes a day to just sit and to say, let's pretend that this is all real. The side effect that I've had over the years is, by doing something like that, is then you can see how powerful you really are. Then you get to see how true all of this stuff really is. This is conditioning, this little stuff that we're turning off for a minute. This isn't even your original idea. This was somebody started to tell somebody else a lie. And each of those generations shared that lie to the next and to the next before it got to us. And so we're just unpacking those lies and no longer believing in the lies and instead believe in yourself. And I mean, the life that we live is such a crazy adventure. Like the fact that I have the life that I have, what? And it all has to do with just belief. It's got to do with belief and allowing yourself to enjoy, to play, to laugh, and to dance along the way. And that's part of being flow. Go ahead.
Well, it's healing and it makes you smile and like Mila said, you practice a little bit and just do it for 5 minutes. Do it at sunrise and sunset. Do it at 3 times a day, lunchtime, morning, and start practicing and start testing and then do the same thing. See if it happens. But just start so that you can see it for yourself. If you're curious enough to listen, which most people say to me, they go on to and they listen and then they get wiped out, and that's fine because it's a lot of information. But if you're curious enough to listen, this is the inner calling. If you're curious, this is Alice in Wonderland. This is going down the rabbit hole. You're curious. You're curious for a reason, whether it's ghosts, whether it's angels, whether it's ETs, whether it's magic. And yes, there's a dark side, and yes, there's this side. There's both sides. There's always both sides. There's no right or wrong. But you have to practice it. It doesn't just turn up in a package at the front door all the time anyway. You do have to practice it. You might have a few little wake-up calls along the way. But what we've noticed in the last 2 years of meeting Mila is it really has magnified to quite big, like in a big way, globally, in a necessary way. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time, Mila.
It was the 24th of March, in fact, that the final gong chimed on the sky clock.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
For that was your grand gesture day, and it was
Yeah.
the eve of mine.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I challenge any one of you to remember who you were before the 24th of March.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was like to be me back then. We've changed so much since then.
Yeah. Well, this is the other thing. I keep seeing people get younger looking, younger looking, younger looking, younger looking. I go, wow, you look really good. I'm always complimenting people now. I'm always going, wow, you look great.
Yeah.
Like you look taller, or, you know, and they do, they look happier. And whether it's from them being around us, I don't know, or if it's them practicing, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm seeing the hug effect work.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it the hug effect because it does. It feels like a hug. It's reassuring. It's exciting because you can see, okay, it's like we got over it. It's like a breath of fresh air. And this is one of the things they call Easter. They call it the breath of tar, or the breath of the heavens. You're breathing it in. And this is what you're doing. You're breathing in the new ET energy coming through, and remembering or gaining new knowledge, and letting go of the old, and working it all together. This is, you're all walking spaceships, starships, you know, and enjoy it. We have the Etters and the Lyrides come through over Easter, and then we've got the one, by the way, the black swan in 10 days. So, you know, they can predict everything else, right? But they can't predict these. So really, and they'll give you all these scientific reasons that they can't predict it, why they can't predict it. But
Right.
I know why they can't, because they follow law of attraction like we do.
Yeah.
Because we are them.
Right. Yeah. Very much. And
Yeah.
the stories that you talk about, we are noticing these stories. Some of the stories that are in the Bible not only happened before, but are happening now. You know, we're that echo. We're that moving forward. We're coming to completion. The story's finishing itself. And that doesn't mean an end for something. It means I finally finished the dishes, which is funny that you just got done using that example, because that's the example that Spirit told me a little while ago when we were talking about this. But that's what they mean by completion when we talk. That's why there's joy and celebration. It's not, oh, it's over. It's like, no, dude. Now I get to turn the page. Finally, you know, like, and there's a series of books. We actually finished one book about a year ago of the series of books. We opened another book like almost a whole year ago, and we didn't really seem to notice it on a collective level, but everybody did in retrospect, in hindsight, you know. And in all of these codes, within all of these codes still shares the same story of the indigenous people of the Americas, indigenous people of Australia, which our stories together go to get fit almost exactly. Australia's just a couple of years after the things that happened, historically speaking, supposedly. Is that it's all going back to this rainbow story, the rainbow warriors, the rainbow tribe. Mu shall rise again. Mu is Lemuria. The Turtle Island is actually Australia and America and North America connected when they were connected in an earlier time. And the swan is the black swan. And the white calf is the white calf. So I'm trying to, and then, okay. So the story of the white calf buffalo woman is this rainbow warrior story. Near the end of it, it talks about, and the sun shall weep into the other ocean, and Mu shall rise again. Along with Mu rising again, so comes the rainbow woman, who is a governess of a cave here where I live. That's called the Crystal Cave. No one's been permitted to go into this cave for hundreds of years, and it's closely protected. It's told and prophesized that when the man with the red hat or the red cape comes from the east and goes to the place, the land of the Hopi, which is Utah, Arizona area, then this rainbow woman will usher the awakened ones to her cave, and upon the walls of the cave, there are markings left behind to remind us how to talk to the people of the star nations, to ETs. And this cave is made entirely out of crystal, from what I understand. And then having the outside layer of this area where I live, there's crystals just popping up out of the ground all the time. I posted a short one time, and hardly anyone believed me. They thought that I just threw them all out there, and those were considered junk crystals. There are places that are just down the road from there that you have to go pay to play in their mines and stuff. That was the free ones. And this is all a completion of all these stories and all these prophecies. It's been long told that this was going to happen. We all knew this was going to occur. And the fact that Easter's falling on such and I know a lot of people associate 422 marijuana, and that's not the only use of that number. Like weed or.
No, really?
Yeah, that actually is a big deal here.
Man. Okay, so all right, holy bucket of snakes. Mila's not joking, because I remember being on a few Zoom groups way back in the beginning, and she goes, "Look what I just stubbed my foot on." She holds up this huge crystal. Yeah. I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's just on the side of the road where she's walking." And I'm like, "How can you just walk past that?" She goes, "They're everywhere." They don't call it. I mean, yeah, that's amazing. She's literally in crystal lands.
So this is one of them that we just got.
It's amazing.
And it's quartz, and it's got obsidian in there and copper, and there's some rose quartz too mixed in with and then clear quartz, and then the milky quartz. This is just coming out of the ground.
Well, where we are and where Mila is quartz capital. Like the land's called quartz, lots of quartz. That's what some of the names of the towns here are called. Cool. So quartz is what they used to coat the pyramid with. It's been taken off, but this was the coating of the pyramids. It's a great frequency. They use it in a lot of energy tools as well, which in disclosure will come about. It's also in us as well, the quartz. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this prophecy that's coming through has been coming through in so many different realms. So they knew of this time coming. Mm-hmm. So you talked about this being the number weed.
Yeah, 420.
Which is wed, which is the fingers that she had the rings on in her hands.
Oh.
Which is live her liver. It's a meridian. So now we're talking anatomy. And so the other thing about this is that Easter hasn't been aligned for 30 years. Mm-hmm. The two Easters, Western and so see what happens. This is an alignment. This could have been a near miss.
Yeah.
It's not. That's why it feels like a big hug, because the alignments were ready now for this Easter. Otherwise, we would have had to wait quite a few cycles again for this to come up. But all the planets are in alignment for this now. That's why now more than ever you have to follow the trueness of you. And
the what?
The true ring of you, the trueness of you. because, or Anu, the trueness of Anu, because, and don't worry, because the universe has your back. If you're not following the trueness of you, it will let you know.
Right.
It will let you know. It'll go, not yet, too early, too late, not yet, not yet. It will. It has your back. You just have to do, like you said, Mila, be the flow of it. Go with the flow of it.
Yeah. And then you can
Don't
float.
get, yeah,
Then
it's
it's gonna
much
be
easier
fun.
that way.
Yeah. You're not choking on water or bouncing off the boulders. There's jagged rocks at the bottom. You're actually enjoying the ride and watching the scenery as you go.
Yeah. Well, this is what swan represents in Egypt. It's the boat, it's the harp, it's the sweet song. You follow the sweet song. This is what Easter is. You take in the sweet breath. So you take in the sweet breath and then you exhale the sweet breath. This is one of the practices for meditation. So you
That's
can,
why sweet bread.
well, because you become a higher breed through doing this. And so it's the breaking of the bread. When you break bread, you smell all the sweetness of the bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the opening of, well, in death, in burial, you have the 7 days, and then you have the opening of the mouth. It's the same thing. Yeah. So, yeah, it depends which angle you come at it, but it really does pinpoint to the same thing, that you're on path. You just have to be on your path.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter your family members, they'll all be on different paths. You cannot be on the same path. Everyone is a creator.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so cool.
Dude, you said so much. I was making mental notes and taking notes. There's a couple of things, but you said you didn't. I don't know what you actually said when you said this particular thing, but you started a cycle too. So I'm gonna grab this real quick before I forget. I thought you said Trila for a minute there, and someone actually named their tree Trila that I talked to, and the reason that that's significant was that you said that, and it reminded me a message that came through when I was in session with this individual. She's a lovely soul. I just love her. But when we were talking, a channel message came in to say that the part of the Bible that talks about the woe to those with the babes in arms during this time of tribulation or of revelation or whatever it was. I can't remember if I ever found where the Bible passage was or not. They brought this in, Spirit brought this in to say what they're talking about is it's going to be hard if you haven't integrated your inner child. They're not talking about literal babies in your arms. That, like, they're not saying it's going to be bad for somebody who's a parent to a young child. They're saying, woe to those who are haven't but begun or have not been able to, for some reason, resolve their inner trauma, their healing, to reintegrate their shadow self is another word that, depending on what school of thought you are, we use either shadow self, inner child. These are aspects that are missing of you that you've kind of hidden down inside yourself. It means the same thing. And if you want to find a meditation, a guided meditation to do that, one of my favorite, you just type in YouTube here. You can type in Aaron Apke, shadow work guided meditation. This was a one that he did 5 years ago. I don't really watch a lot of his stuff anymore, but back then that's a really good shadow work meditation. And what they're saying, not woe to you, but it's those who have not been able to reintegrate or start to work on reintegrating their shadow aspects, it's going to be a little bit more choppy waters, and if you don't have to have it be choppy, why not, do some shadow work?
So it's just the inner child throwing a tanty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, you can be in a great place, and then something like a solar flare comes through, or a cyclone, or a fake cyclone, and
Right.
and it will completely throw you. But how you handle it, and you seem to be able to weave your way through it. You become a weaver, a spinner. You spin your way through it, and a spinster,
The Weaver woman.
the spinster, the sister. You spin your way through it, and
I'm
this
considered a
is
spinster, actually. That's
we
what they
all
call
are.
people that
We,
don't get married. Women that don't get married, they're called an old spinster.
yeah. Well, a spinster or a widow. The windows. Because you're around the process of life and death, and you see the windows, you see the spinning of it all, and you open it.
Right.
Yeah, this is there's a lot of there's a lot of things happening that from the whole lockdown. A lot of outcomes happening now, and they don't have to go through it all.
Yeah.
If I had to say two things, onion and dandelion.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
go those two. Just go those two, because I have seen how it's healed ones around me who I love dearly, and it works. Right now, I have an onion cut right next to me because my this last 7-day period, two family members, myself and another family member, got attacked by ticks. So
Mm.
I had ticks all up and down my spine, Mila, and it set off the Lyme disease again. I was like, oh no, here we go again. And it sets like stroke-like symptoms in myself. And I just went, oh, do I really have to go through all this again? And I just kept the onion near me. I kept rubbing the bites and easing the mucus through, and it's gone. This is the
Awesome.
quickest I've ever gone through it. A couple of days now. So I'm
Wow.
just saying, yeah, this dandelion and an onion.
Yeah. It's a sponge, an onion.
Mm.
People will sometimes tell me the people who could use onions more, that would help them the most. I mean, usually say, "Well, I'm allergic," and I know right away what they mean. When the onion is full, it leaves your body quickly. Usually, you're rushing to the bathroom, um, and just because this happens doesn't mean that you're allergic. Like, I mean, use your own discernment. I'm not telling you to do anything. I have the power of the onion's a big deal for me. Like, you can put it on your skin, you consume it, you can have it raw. If you decide to make a poultice out of it and like slow cook it, there's all kinds of different things you can do with it. Um, Dandelion, every part of the dandelion is useful. Most detox teas that you'll find in the States has dandelion root in it. You'll find it in you can get it, I mean, I suggest personally to check to be sure that that nothing's been sprayed on where you're going to be harvesting your dandelion from. And I mean like within like several years ago, I think 10 years is what you can really expect, that it'll kind of seep into the soil and stay there. That's what they say anyway.
Yeah, but look, I agree with that. When we go for a walk, the government sometimes comes through and does spray where we walk, and so just check the other plants around. I mean, if the plants are looking droopy around, just don't eat it.
Right.
Yeah, but if the dandelion looks vibrant and healthy, it's 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 got over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally. Yeah. So that's how we tell, because sometimes there's no signposts, or
Right.
because we're not in the city. So, but yeah, if you see lots of dead lizards or dead animals around, they could be affected from spray. So you read the signs, like you said, you
Right.
use your discernment, and so you work your way through it. But yeah, I, we're not meant to suffer,
Right.
and you're allowed to smile if you want to smile, but you have to have that calling of the will within. And if you are dictated by dictators, then it's harder. This stuff doesn't work because they don't dictate this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we say try a little bit for each day, test it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like, I mean, if you don't like the flavor of it, then make it into a tea.
Mm.
You know, like there's when I'm talking about anything at this point, you can also have the tea or herbal remedies delivered to your system by foot soaks if you really can't stand the flavor of something. I find this to be super powerful to know that. Like people will put even whole tea bags in like a foot soak, and that way they can absorb, whatever's coming in through that, and just listen to your own body. Like the example that you made regarding, like, uh, man, I, we have to start closing it up soon-ish, and I have so many notes. We're not supposed.
Can I, Camila, can I just say one thing? So to understand this, right, what we're doing now, because I've had to work my head around this stuff with Mila, right? So Mila channels, but then she's hearing my voice, so she's channeling what I'm saying, and I'm doing the same back. Can you see how it sounds like we're running through tunnels?
Yeah, yeah,
It's like your background. Do you get what I'm saying, right?
yeah. I
And
do. I do.
so sometimes Mila will say something, and it will like connect and hit and bang and then fire off a whole new ring. That's why
Right.
so when Mila's talking and I'm talking and people they'll say, didn't you just say it? And Mila will say, I don't remember that. I'm so glad we recorded it because
Yeah,
it's like that, right?
it is. It's very much like, and it's a fun thing. It doesn't feel overwhelming or freaky or anything. It's like a dance.
Yeah. A dance. Oh, it's like a dance.
Yeah.
It's like a dance. Yeah. It's like a dance. It is.
Yeah, it's fun. It feels very much like we're at play. But yeah, and I even hear, especially after I connect with someone strong enough, like meaning they're in my life frequently, it'll become more of an echo. It's something that just happens where when they, energetically, spiritually, telepathically connect with me, it sounds like there's an echo. There's a resonance that comes off of when they're talking. And you know that that's them truly in real life asking for you, reaching out to you. Um, I know it's super fascinating that uh, you also experience it and that makes sense to you, because that's like something I've never shared with anybody before. Like that's really, I mean, I didn't have any real reason not to talk about it. It's just, I thought that was unique to me. So that's really cool.
Well, it's chiming. And that's what we're saying. It's the ringing. And then so the ones that aren't ringing their true ring, it just won't have a ping to it. It'll
Yeah.
be like, you know how you hear the submarines under the ocean or the whales and you hear them ping and it echoes back and they register, they hear it and things like this.
Mhm.
You won't hear their ping anymore. And they talk about this in the Ascension Celestine prophecy.
Oh,
They just want you just almost become invisible to them because your ring is too high frequency or too low frequency, and so this is the splitting of the worlds they talk of.
yeah.
It's just different frequencies. That's all.
Right. Right.
That's what they speak of all the time. This is what your show's called, high vibration. You can't click on this button and not expect high vibrations. Seriously.
I'm glad to hear that, because that definitely is what I present myself to share. I never know if it's coming through the screen for people. So it's really cool to hear that. You know, there's so much to celebrate. There's so much reason to be in this celebration heart, in this place of play and excitement, you know, and I feel like that those ringing of the bells also have to do with the signaling of the we finally made it. You know, we really did. And there's we could probably talk for another hour.
It's 144.
Oh, 144,000. There was actually somebody who asked you a question specifically. Jenny asked. I'm gonna bring it up. Hi Elsa, do you have something to add about Anzac Day? Alignment, 25th of April, Australia and New Zealand Army Corps aligned as or signaling end of World War One.
This was a trick. Anzac Day was a trick. But then this upsets all the soldiers. So this is not meant to upset anyone, but it's Anzac Day is has a lot of meanings to it. It goes very deep. It's a big topic, but it was a lot of the. It was the trick. They tricked them on the shores. They told them it was different land, and they got ambushed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the games of war. Nothing came from war. Nothing comes from war. War is Ma. And they flipped it to war. Ma is the memory of the R's, memory of the marked ones. It comes back to the same symbols again for me. And there's this side and this side. And so you can use it as a war or you can use it as a tool. And this is the way we choose to use weapon as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a tool. It's an ore. It always was an ore. And it's just up to your will. And they've reprogrammed our wills to not be our wills.
Mm-hmm.
It's even, we have to leave a will when we die. It's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So whenever the ridiculousness has become so great in reality that it makes us look not ridiculous.
Right. You can't deny it.
Like she's smiling, they're not. She looks younger, they're not. You know, so
Right.
what you gotta, like you said, use your discernment now.
Yeah.
And you know, remembering war, yes, remembering war, but it's an anchor.
Yeah.
It's an anchor. It's trying to make you relive all that.
Yeah.
You can appreciate it, but you don't have to relive it. You don't have to relive it. You just have to go from what you have now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I like what Carr said about this too, like the telephone ladies that would unplug or plug and unplug the cords to different phone lines. Like would choose
The switchboard.
Yeah. You know,
Well,
go ahead.
well, it's switch. So sea witch, Medusa. It's
Mm-hmm.
Medusa. You're plugging in. And
Plug it in, plug it in.
yeah, but it's also octopus, you know, octa, you're plugging in. Yeah. So
That's the two fours.
just find the octopus of you. Find who you want to connect with, and sometimes you'll hear this information, you go, I can't listen to that right now. Or sometimes you'll go, oh, and it rings for you. And this will be just keep following the ring of you.
Yeah.
And see and practice it, see that it works. And then give us some feedback, because we need the gifts. We need to share the smiles and the amazement. And please give myself or Mila the feedback.
Yeah.
Give us gifts back so that we can hear and smile with you, because we enjoy hearing it too. And this is what we love about Mila's audience and my audiences. They're so kind and grateful and sharing.
Yeah,
We're all in this.
that's right. It feels cozy. It feels homey. It feels lovely to be in the energy of the people that collect around all of us. Like all of us. I'm talking about the audience. I'm talking about it just, and it happens naturally the way it's meant to, but it's just such a beautiful group of amazing souls that I'm so honored, and I just I feel so lucky to have this life, and to get to connect with so many amazing people, and here's another comment from Jenny that this just kind of goes along with this, is that when looking at the numbers on chat or subscribers on YouTube channels, for me seems like the numbers are way huger. And Elsa and I talk about this all the time. Actually, we have evidence. We can take screenshots of stuff that we all have that ability on our phone, but um I'm not affected in a negative way by this. Like, to me, that means I'm doing the right thing. But there's obviously something happens where, like, somehow you can't unview a show. You can't unview something. That's not something that you can possibly do. But somehow, every time that we crossed over a certain amount of viewership, it drops hundreds of points.
I
And
have so many screenshots of Mila's where they're like we're talking 10,000, 11,000, and then it drops down to 600. And I've just randomly screenshotted because I was just going, oh, I like that. Me just being me. I go, oh, pretty numbers. So I go 1444, 14,000 or 444. And then I look at it again and I was like, I screenshotted it.
yeah.
So I have proof. So and we're talking seconds, Mila. Like,
Yeah.
so where did they? So is that see no evil, hear no evil, speak?
Yeah. Right.
Where'd they all go? But yeah, so it's that's why we say follow the ring. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Just follow your ring, and it will work out. And disclosure will become closer, and it will all happen. And you watch, it will just become easier. But you have to do it. You have to act it. Waiting for the others to do it, that's not enough.
Right.
Got to do it for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, exactly. That message is so powerful and important, is that because a lot of us think that we're taught to think that if you're not getting so many likes or something, that it's not worth doing, and that's got nothing to do with anything. I mean, look at the community that we've been able to be in and be a part of, create, just by following that instinct, that drive, that compulsion. Like the salmon is compelled to return to the place of its birth 4 years after, not even knowing why, because it was still in the egg when it went all the way down the stream, but now it's going backwards up the waterfall. Like, we're compelled like that. And just keep doing
Well,
it.
that's what the animals do. That's what the trees do. The trees don't go, or the flowers don't go, well, I'm not going to bloom today because no one's listening to me.
Right.
No one's appreciating me, so I'm just not going to bloom today. No, they don't. They just get up and follow the sun, and they have their day. And same with the birds, and they get up and they sing. They don't say, "Are you listening?"
Right.
No, I'm the only one chirping. Everyone be quiet. They're all. Even the dogs barking. They're not like I'm the only one barking. They're all, howling and barking. Like, everyone does their thing. Do your thing.
Yeah.
I love you, Mila. Thank you for
Right.
this. I am so sorry it's gone so long. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry for my butt, but everything else is loving it. So.
I'm frozen. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Oh, really? You're frozen at the end of the show.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Wow.
that's all that matters.
You know why? The solar flare. Remember I said the solar flare starts at 11?
Oh, hey. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
full on frozen. There's no way that I'm doing anything on this. Okay.
Yeah, we
Well, this
probably
is
should
perfect.
go.
Perfect timing. I love you. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Blessings.